So my name is Maria Gomez de la Torre. I teach in Summit Virtual Academy. I teach K-8. And my friend.
And hello, my name is Katie Gardner, and I'm a kindergarten and first grade English as a second language teacher at Knollwood Elementary School in Salisbury, North Carolina. So we're just going to start out with our agenda. First, we're going to talk about why we could use WriteReader with our students and why it's the most amazing book creation tool ever. We're going to look briefly at a WriteReader ML guidebook, so get some ideas of how you could use it with your students of all ages and stages. Then Marielle is going to share a little bit about her virtual field trip experiences and how she incorporated WriteReader into these really cool lessons. And then finishing it up with some questions and resources that we would love to share with you. WriteReader is such a great tool to use for our students and teachers to create digital books because it works on multiple platforms. So it's a web-based tool that you can use on any kind of digital product. It could be a laptop, an iPhone, a tablet, Google, anything. So it's really so accessible for every learner in any kind of learning environment to use. And we'd like now to kind of have it interactive. Let's get started. Let's create your own WriteReader account. It's a free program for you to use. So if you're following along with us, you can either scan this QR code to begin setting up your account, or you can go to the website shared here, writereader.com. Then please click the educators login or sign up. All right, well, while we're getting signed in and logging into our account, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly talk a little bit about, once you've created your account, the different things you can do to add your students and create your classes. So once you've created your account and logged in, you have the option to add students to your class. Once you add your students, you can add their name and you can create a username for them to log in with, or it will create a class username. Another way this website is really, really great for having our students log in quickly and very efficiently is it creates a class QR code where the students can scan the QR code and it will log them into their account very quickly. Here's an example of how that works. So it's really great how you can create and print out these QR codes for your students. Here's an example of the personal login card that the program will create with the student's login name, class code, and then the QR code. And then very quickly, how to make a book. First, you would just click on the blue circle at the bottom right of your screen to choose your page layout for your book. When you've chosen your page layout for your book, you should see kind of a template that looks like this on how to get started. So here, and Maria will speak about this later, on the right side of the page, you'll see all of these really awesome scaffolding tools that you can use to personalize and differentiate your book for your students. Teachers can create a template. Up at the top, you'll see an option to toggle on and create a template that you can share with your students for them to use when creating their personal books. Beside that, you have link sharing, which is awesome. So you can share students' books to parents or on social media platforms or to other teachers. And then one thing I love about this program is the print and download. So this program, you can create a hard copy of students' digital books, which is really, really neat. And it gives students a hard copy of their book to take home and to read and share with their family members. And they become really, really proud authors. Quickly, just some tools you would see when you create your pages in your book. Number one, you would see here, you can add text. So this is where the students or you can add any kind of text to the page. Number two, you can add a picture, and we'll talk about the image bank that you have to choose from later, or you can upload your own image from a camera roll. And number 3, you can add a voice recording, which is great to practice those speaking skills. And number 4 is a really neat, kind of unique feature of this program, where here it's called the educator text box or an educator writing box, where teachers could use this box to create so many different scaffolding or supports for students on the page. And then number 5, of course, you can delete your page if you want to try again. Here's an example of how you might use that educator text box for feedback and support. Students can try and write their own sentence on that first student's text box, and then a teacher could give that support or feedback on how to write it correctly in that educator text box. And in that image bank we talked about earlier, students can search in a kid-friendly search for different images. There are preloaded images for students to choose from as well, or they could upload an image from their camera roll if they decided to take their own picture on their device.
So Katie, so WriteReader for multilingual learners guidebook. Can you tell us more?
Sure. So here, when you open your library for the first time, you'll see 4 different resources that WriteReader has provided for you and ways you can use this book creation tool with your students. The first one on how to support ELL and ML students, some of these really great scaffolding and support tools. So here's just a quick intro to the program that we've already talked about. It goes briefly into different pre-made templates that you could choose to use with your students, so you're not reinventing the wheel. These are great templates to go ahead pre-made. You can easily implement them into your classroom. It gives examples on how you can have their students become real authors with printable books. Some examples of how important that educator text box can be when supporting your students. Easy ways to get started with that QR code login. And some different examples of how to use vocabulary and direct speech lessons and activities within an interactive book. WriteReader is a great program to practice all 4 language domains with our students: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And like we shared before, it has all of these amazing images that are either preloaded or students can search in a kid-friendly search to incorporate into their book. And last, it shares a really awesome blog by our friend Emily Francis on some great ways and reasons on why to use this program with your MLL students. And then here's one more example of a blog post of some ideas of activities where you can use this book creation tool with your MLL students. If you're just searching for some kind of unique or fun interactive ways for students and teachers to create books to implement all the language domains in practice. All right, now let's get to the good stuff. If Marielle could please tell us a little bit about how she used WriteReader, this book creation program, with her students during her virtual field trip experiences.
Okay, so here it comes. I love to do virtual expeditions around the world. And one of the things that I like is when the students, we go to these trips, I like them to, after experience, I like them to write what they have seen. And also we read the books about what we have seen it. And then they have to write about it. So this is what we saw. And this actually is the person that is the CEO of this app. That was very fortunate that he took me to see Denmark. And these are the actual Zoom pictures that you can see. And my students wrote, and you're going to have at the end a Padlet where you can read the experience, one of the experience. And I have the students I have, this one is a 2nd grader. He was a beginner. I have Yana who exited, which I'm very excited. Josiela, 4th grader. So Yana was a 5th grader, Leah is a 4th grader, James and Camila are 3rd graders. So I have, and then in one more I will show you, I have a middle school. So it doesn't matter what grade level your students are, the students are going to be able to enjoy it. So that's one of the things that I wanted. This is called the reading rooms. And one of the things I love about the reading rooms, because you start writing books of different topics, and they will be very difficult for the kids to find the books. But when you create your reading room, that's the only things that the students are going to read about it. So I'm not going to read about our visit to the zoo or the visit that we have when we went to see the firefighters. No, the only thing I want them to read is about the book that we wrote about Denmark. So what it does is they're not only reading their own books that they wrote, but they are reading about their classmates. And that's what it makes very rich about it. So here are examples of the books that I just showed you, little pieces. When I show their scores here, now all of them are surpassed the numbers that you see here. For example, this one that was a 1.9, now he is in a 2.9. So this was at the beginning of the school year. This was in September. And now the student score came at 2.9. This student exited with a 4.5. So what it does is it's so authentic what they do with this expedition and motivated to write. So scores goes up. So I really encourage the two things, expeditions and then write about it. Now I'm going to show you one of the features that Katie talked about it, of what can you do with this. So this was Camila that wrote, I want you to hear.
Hello, I just wanted to see my reaction when I saw the Little Mermaid. Well, in Denmark. So I wanted to say it looks awesome. When I saw it, like, I was like, is that the real one? Because I just wanted to see one in a statue, but it's so cool. One day I want to visit Denmark to see how life is there. And of course, thank you for hearing. Bye.
So she wrote her page and then she talked about a comment about what she wrote. So how cool is that? That she can write, but also she can talk about and comment about the book. So if somebody is writing, also you can hear the comments about what she wrote and the experience that she had. So you're not only writing, but they can also write the comments. So that's another advantage of the things that it has this up. So now, this book is this one is a middle school student. And that's another thing that I want you to check. So you see, it's not only little ones, big ones also, they like it. And one of the things that I like about this student 2 years ago, we visited the Netherlands. And when we went to Denmark, and he saw the houses that you see here, I live in the Netherlands, and that trip was 2 years ago. And when he saw this, he was able to compare and contrast and say, oh my God, Miss Maria, this looks like the Netherlands. And I was like shocked. So I encourage you to do also expeditions and then make them write about it. And as you see, how powerful is this? Now, one of the things that I like here that Katie was talking about is, like, imagine you have newcomers. So you have the students that just learning how to speak English and write English. And then they start with a word like beautiful. Oh my God, beautiful. How difficult it is to write beautiful? And they struggle. Well, you click the key sounds and it's going to do it. So you have your books. Can you play in the title if you want and write the word beautiful and click the either the ABC letters or sounds? So that is another part that I love about these. And also this you can be sharing like with the Spanish teacher. So you're teaching English, the same account for the student can be used with the Spanish teacher, like the social study teacher or the science teacher that is in Spanish, and you're teaching English, same account. It can be shared because you can be a co-teacher. You don't need like multiple accounts. You only need one, and you can have the co-teacher. So you don't need like 10,000 accounts, only one shared by the teachers.
And I also wanted to note the speech synthesis button, which is below the sounds. This is another great tool that WriteReader's provided us. So if you toggle that on, your students are allowed to speak into the iPad or the computer, and it will write out what they speak for them. So that's just another great support for maybe our early learners or students who are just learning how to write. They're able to create an audio recording and it will type out their words for them on the page.
And we want you to hear this. Good afternoon, I'm here with Katie. I am Mariel Gomez de la Torre, Katie Gardner, and Josiel Gomez Ortiz. And she is in 4th grade, and she's going to show us something, and then we're going to ask her a few questions. Okay, Josiel.
This is my book from Denmark. Have you ever heard about Denmark? Well, this book is about Denmark. Let's start with the streets. The streets of Denmark are friendly. The capital of Denmark is Copenhagen. Denmark has a population of 5,838,662. We are using an app, WriteReader, that has been created in Denmark. This is the CEO of WriteReader, Mr. Babar Beg. He took us in his bicycle around Copenhagen. We have never been in an expedition by bicycle. It was fantastic as we were able to see a lot in 45 minutes. These houses right here are one of the most famous places in Denmark. It is located in the Nyhavn Harbor. More than 80 plus people come there and every day. Surprise! Guess who's this? Yes, the Little Mermaid. Did you know that the Little Mermaid was originally made in Denmark? This little statue is in Copenhagen, Denmark. Oh no, that's the end of the story. We hope to see you again.
Wow.
That was wonderful, Josiel.
Yes, yeah, that was
Excellent.
amazing.
So now if you can stop sharing, so now we can ask you questions. That was amazing.
Yasiel, great work. I am so impressed by your reading and writing. I
Thank
love
you.
your book. Why did you enjoy using WriteReader, the WriteReader program?
I enjoyed using WriteReader because it's really easy to use, because you really don't have to like write or anything by hand, and you can do it digitally. And it's also really easy to use because you can also hear your feedback, because when you can do your like voice, you can record yourself and you can like, how can I say this? You can hear back by what you said, and you can hear if you said anything by mistake.
I love that. So you're able to kind of self-assess yourself as you're working and creating your book, but are you also able to receive feedback from Miss Marielle as well?
Yes, if she can, you can read, well, she can read your books, and she can tell you if you need to fix something or if it's okay. And you can also read other people's books. So like your friends' books, if your friends are in the same class in WriteReader, you can read your friends' books.
So it's like being at a library where you can check
Yeah.
out.
So anything that you want to add before we cut the interview, Giselle?
I don't.
Would you recommend these to use, other teachers to use it?
Absolutely.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay,
I
Giselle.
can't wait to read more books from you on WriteReader. I'm excited.
We
Great
are so
job.
excited. We know that the sky is the limit. Josiel, as you see, has one of my best writers. And as you see, she likes to read what the other students are doing, and they read to each other and they help. And do you hear how they help the feedback to be able to read back to the app read to them? They notice those mistakes if they have. So that's one thing that I also like about it. We want you to take a picture of these because that's going to be your best thing that you're going to take. It has all the resources. So take a picture of the QR code and let us know that you have the Padlet.
And this Padlet really is housing a ton of resources. It has videos on how to get started. It has videos of ways to use WriteReader. It has links to blog posts and so many things. So
Okay, so here, just very briefly, so you can start working. You're going to have how to create the reading book that I show you the first thing. So that's what I love, the reading book, because they're going to write so many books and it's going to be like a mess. But I think the best is when you start writing the reading, how to create the reading books, everything that Katie's starting to, the guidebooks, the premium features, and even how to create accounts for your students, which one thing that I love is the password is, they don't need the password. They have to remember the username and there's a class code. So easy to use. No, and then you have here blog ideas, the research, talking about the field trips, examples, our Twitters, follow us. We always share things, and also the presentation is shared here. No, so this is their
Twitter handle.
The Twitter handle. Please, this is going to be your best friend. It's amazing all the things that they share. So I really suggest it. And in the battle, also it has the blog, the website to follow. And one of the things that I like it and I share it with you is that I was able that my students were published online. I wrote a blog and they were writing a blog, and now my students are, oh my God, Miss Marielle, we are authors. Everybody's reading us. And that makes so powerful because they feel that they are authors and everybody in the world, they're reading their books. And after that, I couldn't stop them anymore. Once it was published, they want to write. And it changed their idea of writing, because at the beginning it was like, do I have to write? Do I have to write? It was a nightmare. Now, when are we writing? When is our next book? So we changed the idea.
Thank you so much for joining us. And please check out that Padlet and feel free to reach out to us with any questions or ideas for collaborating or creating some really cool books.
And Katie and I, we are so excited that you're here. We are so excited that soon you're going to be using WriteReader and you're going to be in love, like we are in love. Katie, in love with me 10 years before. I'm 4 years, because when she showed me, I was like, ah, what is this? I got so excited. And after that, I never stopped using it. So you will be the same as me. So thank you so much for coming.